Hello and welcome to Apostolic Children's Ministry Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Apostolic Children's Ministry Podcast. I'm going to start off by saying that this is going to be not in our usual format. We don't have any segments today, no fancy intros or outros, mostly because this week is pretty nutty. This is our harvest week, and so we've been running nonstop, but we didn't want to skip an episode. We've been pretty consistent this year with our Thursday releases, and we're trying hard to keep that streak alive. We're chasing Gabe Baker in the consistency department, though that is a tough act to follow. That man is an absolute machine, and we're just doing the best we can. But the main reason things are so hectic is because of HarvestFest. Like I said, it's one of our biggest events we have all year. It's second only to Easter, and for us, it is just a massive event. We usually see up to about 3,000 people on the church property in that 3-hour window, and it's one of our biggest outreach tools. And over the years, we've had families come to church, be added in as direct members from this event itself. So today we just want to take a few minutes to describe what that Harvest Fest is like, how it came to be, how it's set up, maybe some of the fun or maybe painful lessons that we have learned along the way. And if I had to tell anybody anything, because we have people ask, how did you create an event of this magnitude, is we want to first of all emphasize that this did not happen overnight. Our Harvest Fest has been happening for over 20 years, and it started very small. Actually, in the back of our church, I remember seeing just some of our church people bobbing for apples with some neighbor kids, and that's how it started. But 20 years later, it's developed some pretty serious momentum, and now we don't even hardly advertise it. People just know it's coming, and they've been before. They come back, they bring friends, they bring their family, and year after year, we see them again. It's just become part of the fabric of our city at this point. And we always hold it on October 31st every year, no exceptions. We don't move it to a more convenient night like Friday or Saturday. Some of the other places in town do that, but we have found that sticking with that exact date, at least for us, works best. And so when the city puts on a big event or another church in town hosts something similar, ours still ends up being one of the larger events, one of the most well-attended. And I'll be the first to admit, sometimes it lands on a weird night, an awkward night of the week. People have to work the next day, but we just roll with it, and that consistency has paid off over the years. Now, there's one major thing that we have to deal with that makes us nervous every single year, and that is the wind. Here in Rialto, we have the Santa Ana winds. And if you've ever been around here, you've ever been through them, you know what I'm talking about. They are absolutely brutal. We're talking gusts of 60 miles an hour plus, sometimes sustained for hours, days, and weeks. I mean, this is from October to February. We have unpredictable, relentless, and just terrible, terrible, terrible wind. So what that means is that every year, our harvest is in the dead center of that nonsense. And our hearts are in our throats until Harvest Fest is over, because a bad windstorm at the wrong time can wipe the whole thing out. But God has been very good to us, very kind to us over the years. And every single year, He has protected us. Thank you, Jesus. So many times, even the day of, it has been windy. Starts off wild and gusty and everything blowing around. But by the time the event starts, the weather calms down. And so far, so good. Everything has gone perfectly. And we've been looking at the weather this year. And Friday is supposed to be absolutely perfect conditions. So we are praying that it stays that way. It's supposed to be 1 to 4 mile an hour gusts, and it is, I think, in the 80s, so 82 degrees, something like that. So we're praying that it stays that way. And so let me kind of go into a little bit of the history of our battling the wind in this event. Back in the day, we used to use Easy Up tents for all of our game booths, and we had a couple dozen of them lining two sides of the property. We'd stake them down. We'd zip tie them to each other. We'd have hay bales around the legs, and they were all, zip tied to that. And we genuinely thought that we were covered. In fact, one of the years we did our most to protect these things. The next day we found out just how wrong we were. The wind that year and several years decided to teach us a lesson, because the night before the event, we would come and find our Easy Ups absolutely twisted like pretzels. One year they were flung over our back retaining wall down a 20-foot drop to where we have like a creek bed running down there. Absolute disaster. Climbed down, drag them back up, and they were just absolutely mangled. Tried to duct tape them together just to get them to stay in place. That wasn't a one-time thing. It was multiple years in a row. So I can't tell you how many easy ups we went through before we finally just gave up on those, and we just pulled the tops off, pulled the sides off, and we just had these empty skeletal frames that looked pretty stupid, quite frankly. But we needed them to mark out where the game booths went. So we finally quit replacing them, and we decided to just come up with something else. So we had a better idea. Took a power auger and drilled holes in the grass, filled them with concrete, and stuck PVC sleeves down inside. And now for harvest, we just slip in metal poles into those holes and make the booths. Now this sounds easy, but I had never used a power auger before. And if you have not lived, because these things will beat you to pieces. This is some sort of gas auger, and this thing has so much torque on it, it'll whip you in circles if you're not careful. I was so bruised up by the time I was done, I thought I didn't want to walk for the next couple of days. But I got it done, and we poured the concrete around them, and we've been using that for the last several years, and it has been a really good alternative. So in the PVC sleeves, we drop in the pipe and drape poles. They go in the four corners, and then interlocking overhead are the ones that you normally would hang the curtain from, and we just use those to outline the booths. And then from that, we hang the yellow construction or orange construction netting that you can get like from Home Depot, and it works well. The wind can't catch it. It's got the holes in it, so it doesn't have anything to grab, but yet it still stops the bean bags or the balls or whatever else that we're doing. Some of the smaller games, though, we have darts or little pieces that can go through that netting. So we have an even finer mesh netting that we put inside that, so nothing escapes. And so far, so good. Everything's pretty well worked out. I'll try to lay out what the event looks like. Excuse me. We've got about 25 game booths set up on three sides of the grass area. So we have the parking lot side, the back retaining wall side, and then against the side of the church. And at those, they play games, everything from Angry Birds to crossbow bear hunt to golfing to knock the cowpoke down. Anyway, they're all kind of Western related. 25 of those. Then next to that, we have our Sunday school science stage, the science barn, and we do object lessons. Excuse me. We do object lessons, mini lessons all night long, basically bringing Sunday school out to the community. And every hour on the hour, we finish with an action song and a huge candy rain. We throw tons and tons of candy. We have like 1,000 pounds total for the whole night. And then we throw a couple buckets worth at the end of each night. Then the last hour, so at 9 o'clock when the whole thing's ending, we usually save a couple extra buckets. We'll gather all the extra candy from the booths, if there is any, and we'll throw it all out at once. But this gathers people around the stage, gives them kind of like a central place to congregate. We'll do some announcements. We'll do some giveaways. And anyway, it works out pretty well. From that stage, we have, when we do the giveaways, there's these sandwich boards that are set up around the property, and there's a QR code that they can scan to enter to win. There's like a Nintendo Switch and usually some other things that we give out. And in that, we collect the information that we use for follow-up later. We offer a home Bible study, and then we'll call them throughout the year following. Next to that, we have our Sunday school and bus ministry booth where we twist animal balloons all night long, hand out flyers, sign kids up to ride the buses. It's a lot of fun, but man, it's a lot of twisting. We have people with blisters by the time we're done. Then there's a food area next to that. There's everything from hot dogs and nachos to Jake's world famous tacos. He sells like 1,000 tacos a year. It's wild. Hamburgers and sodas and street corn and snow cones, you name it. I'm probably forgetting a few things because there's a lot. And then there's a toy and game booth where people can buy small prizes and stuff. And we have our inflatable row. 2 giant inflatables this year. One of them's like a climbing, I don't think it's a climbing wall, but like an area to climb up, and then a big slide. There's a Connect 3 inflatable basketball court. And we have an inflatable axe throwing this year. I think there's a double 2-lane thing of that. And then right in the middle of the property, in the middle of the grass area, We have our Farmer for a Day area, and that one's a favorite for all the kids. They get to walk through and collect eggs from the chickens and pick up fruits and vegetables, milk a cow, and then it's like a fake cow, but we have, anyway, it's a deal we bought online. It's worked out pretty well. And then they can turn it all in for candy at the end. It's a lot of fun. This year we have a giant petting zoo. We used to have one every year, but it just didn't work out for a while. But this year we connected with a 4-H club from a city near us. And we're supposed to have quite a few animals that the kids are bringing. We're excited about that. And I'm hoping there's quite a few animals. But it's a little bit different than last year because it's not like a professional company coming in. It's just kids bringing their animals from their 4-H club. So we'll see how that goes. Next to that, we have our mechanical bull. That's a big hit every year. People line up, sign a waiver. I think it costs $1 to ride. And it's going to be a lot of fun there. We always have a lot of good pictures from that. There's other things around the property. There's like photo booths. Not a photo booth, like a place you can stick your face through the image and get your picture taken. Some interactive setups. We have these big yellow boxes that you can look in. It's like a man-eating chicken. There's one that's baby rattlers, and you look inside. The man-eating chicken is literally a man eating fried chicken. Anyway, it's just funny and silly. Let's see what else we got. I think that may be it. But our church people, they work really hard to pull it off. Setup takes days. The cleanup is brutal. By the time we finish, it's usually midnight, 1 in the morning for the faithful few that stick it out to the end. But we all agree it's worth it. It's amazing outreach and just a great night all around. So this episode is going live on Thursday, and that event will happen tomorrow night, Friday night. By the time you're listening, right now, while you're listening, we're going to be knee-deep in the setup. And like I said, we had 3,000 people last year. We're expecting about the same this year. Next year is going to be different, though. We should be breaking ground for our new church building on the spot that we're currently having HarvestFest. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. We'll figure out something just so we don't lose the momentum of HarvestFest, but it's going to probably look very different. But it's an exciting event. And we're almost done with this podcast. We're not going to go too much longer. But one other change that we have done here in our Sunday school is we have launched a new format for our youth boys class. And I did it last week. It went pretty well. We have live music. The boys themselves from the class are the ones that play it. And after it was over, we had 4 new boys come up and say they wanted to really get involved with that. And we want bus riders, church kids, everybody to take part in that. And we don't care how good they are. We just want them to get involved and feel like they're a part of the service. Had a game, object lesson, offering, prayer requests, then a final lesson into a really good altar call. And it felt like it went well. The boys seemed to enjoy it. I'm trying to get feedback from them, but it flowed pretty well. And we're going to keep tweaking it until it's everything it should be. Anyway, I know this is a much shorter, very different, more off-the-cuff episode, but we wanted to make sure we got something out this week. And next week, we won't be so tied up with HarvestFest prep. So thank you all for listening in, and we'll be back next week with our regular style of episode. Till then, God bless, and we will see you after HarvestFest.